This right here is the fusion for the month of June 2024, and it will start June 6th, so you have some time to prepare. You can do a bunch of events and tournaments to eventually obtain fragments. Yes, I say fragments to obtain epic champions that you can fuse into this legendary. What do I mean? This is going to be an old school plus a fragment fusion, so it's not just a fragment fusion, it's not just an old school fusion, it's a mix of those. So there are no rares this time around. You'll find epics to fuse into this champion from fragments. So what do we know about this champion yet? Already I can tell you there are a bunch of negative things being said about this champion already. I'll not even doubt that people, she does deserve, or yeah, she does deserve all the negativity that is coming in right here. But guess what? Playroom Raid does not have to give a good fusion back to back. So it's once in a while, it's good for them to give us a fusion that is worth skipping, because players in Raid want to take a break, they want to do other things, they want to build their things. So whenever a fusion comes around, you're like, this one is not game breaking, this is not game change, this is not going to help my account, I will skip this one and move on to other things. So it's totally fine for her to be mid at best. So I'm expecting this, but I will go into this with a positive mindset to find out if I can use this champion at least in one content in Raid. If she can be used in one content and she's good there, she'll be worth getting for my account that never misses a fusion. Now for the Noob to Pro or for the Headhunters account that will look whether it's worth it or not, now those newer players can decide whether she's going to help them in any content. Maybe Faction Wars, maybe City of Centranos, maybe Hydra, maybe Arena. Let's find out about her skills, her name, and everything. These are my first impressions about this champion. After I see what she does and I give you my feedback, I will now read what Playroom says about her verbatim, so you know exactly what they're expecting you to use this champion as. All right, that's my long intro for this champion, and that's her champion avatar. Her name is the Incarnate, and that's her avatar. And let me zoom this out. She does look, you can already tell the faction. Can you tell the faction? She does look like an undead, but no, it seems like high elves instead, because she has the pose of one of those high elves ladies. All right, finally, what does she do? She's a defensive based force affinity high elves faction champion, and as you can see, her name is really the Incarnate. High elves, is she a mix of undead? If she's the Incarnate, isn't she like dead already? Because that's why I'm looking at the face, almost threw me off like an undead champion. But she has their gold adorned like an IELTS champion. So it's all mixed. But let me see what this champion brings to Raid, what is unique about her, and where she is going to help us in Raid. And for the first skill, her A1 called Attack Intruder attacks one enemy 2 times each hit, has a 30% chance of placing Provoke. A1 30% chance of placing Provoke on a legendary is low. It can be booked up to a 50% chance of placing Provoke, which makes it better. So sometimes you land the Provoke, sometimes you will not land this Provoke. A1 Provoke like this are seen on also epic champions. So it's not like a 75% chance of placing Provoke on one enemy. It would have been better. So maybe she can be having some use in some content. 50-50 chance of landing Provoke is not consistent enough for most endgame content, just to be honest. All right. You normally need somebody else to pair with that Provoke. So that's the A1. It doesn't just place Provoke for one turn. It also has a 10% chance of counter-attacking when an ally arbiter is hit. Occurs once per turn. So this gives her even more chances to place that Provoke. If arbiter is on the same team with her and arbiter takes damage, she goes in, the intruder goes in with her A1, which most likely will provoke that enemy that just hit arbiter. Where do we use arbiter? Arena. Are they saying this champion should be an arena champion? I think so. That's the vibe I'm getting, because her A1 is already calling out the name arbiter. That means she wants to be paired with arbiter. It's been long since we hyped arbiter, but now I know endgame players don't even use her in some content anymore, but newer players will definitely benefit from this skill. Arbiter takes damage, she goes in with the A1. What about the A2? It's called Formation Phalanx. It's on a 4-turn cooldown. When booked, it goes on a 3-turn cooldown. It attacks all enemies, 75% chance of removing all shield buffs for 1 turn on all enemies. Now, if you know anything about shield right now in the arena, it's not just normal shield. It's probably a protected shield, protected by stone skinners and protected by protection set or something. So these days, shield is not viable for a champion to have the ability to remove shields because they are usually protected. So once I read that skill, she attacks all enemies, that's fine. But what does she do? She removes all shield buffs from them for 1 turn. No, all shield buffs and a random buff from them, from all enemies. So it's not just shield. She also takes another buff from them. Shield and block debuff buff, maybe. Shield and increased attack, maybe. Shield and increased defense, maybe. They really want to pair this champion in the arena, but I'm not seeing this skill being very useful in the arena, just to be honest. I'm not seeing it being very, very useful. But let me not judge her yet. I'm still looking at the A3, whether it will be better. This skill, like I said, 3-turn cooldown can be 100% chance of removing that. Yes? Yeah, it goes up to 100% chance of removing that shield and a random buff from all enemies if they have it on them. Like I said, arena these days, even gold 4, gold 3, everybody has their buffs protected. So that's she doesn't remove protected buff. It would have been a good mechanic to make her, very, very viable or useful at least. They should have added that. Let's see the A3 if it makes her better. It's called defensive measures, right? It's on a 5-turn cooldown. It can be booked up to a 3-turn cooldown. It places ally protection. Now we're talking. So far, A1 and A2 that is struggling to be used in the arena is not like making sense for me. Now I'm seeing ally protection. I'm thinking, finally newer players or mid-game or even end-game players have a content where ally protection will always help them. So if you're one of those players who are still struggling with the clan boss or struggling with other content, ally protection is always a way to stay alive longer. And that's what she brings to a team. Her A1 is not a team wide something. If any of the enemies are hit, she should have gone in with the A1. That's what a legendary does. A legendary does not go in only when Arbiter is hit. A legendary goes in when any of her allies is hit. She should go in with the A1. So that's what her A1 should be at least. So we're not talking about that. We're talking about this ally protection. He also places a strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns. Ally protection and strengthen is going to make them even more difficult to take damage, and ally protection is going to keep them alive longer. So she's a support unit. That's what I'm saying. I don't think she's going to be doing a lot of damage. Whenever I see an ally protection, I think support. So let me see what they called her. Legendary defense. It doesn't say defense. It's like a support role. It's not like defense damage dealer. No, it's defense support role. That's what I think. She's not doing any healing. She's just doing a bunch of buff strips, strengthen, and ally protection at the same time. All right. What is gonna make her better? Some passives. Why not? Let's see. On the first passive called Crisis Response, is on a 4-turn cooldown. Cannot be improved. That's it. 4-turn cooldown passive. Both passive, in fact, are a 4-turn cooldown. So it happens once and it just disappears for an entire 4-turn. That passive better be worth it. The first passive increases this ally accuracy by 20 for each ally under ally protection. So she's just gonna use this accuracy to remove shields. That passive does not benefit me, because who comes into battle with not enough accuracy and relying on ally protection before you can remove shields? It's not making sense for me, because I want to start, let's say I'm using this champion in content, I want to start the battle with my A2, which is the one that will remove shield and remove 1 random buff, right? But if I don't have ally protection on my allies yet, I will not have this 20 accuracy for each ally under ally protection. So it wants you to start the battle with the A3, get 20, get like 100 accuracy boost to your start, then you go in with the A2. That's what this first passive is trying to make you do, and I don't like it. I don't like it. All right. When killed, resets the cooldown of Destiny Core, which is Destiny's Core skill for an ally Arbiter. So that's Arbiter's skill. Destiny's Core. You can always check what it is quickly. Arbiter. Is it a revive skill? She's just going to make Arbiter immediately have the revive. This one. This one. That's it. She just makes Arbiter get a revive instantly. Destiny's Call will just be used. Will just be available for Arbiter to use immediately. So if this champion goes down, so that's her name, the Incarnate. If there are multiple champions on this team with the same skill, this effect will only activate once. Yeah. So she makes Arbiter gets her skill revive quick. That's a passive, a useful one. Now, if you're one of those players who are using Arbiter in PvE content, this is your time to shine. They will pair well together, but I'm not seeing both of them being used together in PvP. I'm not seeing it at all. Some things will make it work. Don't be surprised when you begin to see her in content. All right, for the second passive, increases this champion's resistance by 20 for each ally under ally protection. Now, this one I can vibe with this one, right? This one is good. This one is good because she places the ally protection, she gets that increased resistance, and then whatever the enemy try to do to her, because she'll be low health a little bit when she takes all the damage that the allies are supposed to take. So this can keep her alive a little bit when she cannot be debuffed easily with like 50 or 100 more resistance added to her stats already from all the ally protection she put on the allies. This champion will receive 20% less of the damage of an ally arbiters. This champion will also receive 20% of the damage of any ally arbiters. Okay. So she's trying to keep your arbiter alive by taking away some extra damage from the arbiter, and she will take that damage instead. Yeah, she will receive that 20% of the damage. The arbiter will stay alive longer. All right, if there are multiple champions in the same team, blah, 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 the active ones, if any ally arbiter is about to get killed by a fatal hit. Now, this is the part that interests me. Places some killable buff on her for 1 turn. If there are multiple champions, blah, blah, blah. Yes. This champion is paired to be like this with Arbiter. She's supposed to be best friends with Arbiter. Arbiter has always been known in Raid Shadow Legends as the healer, as the support, as the speed booster, turn meter fill, everything, increased attack. And now she finally has somebody helping her. A support champion now is being supported. This is so funny. This is so funny to me. Now the question to you is, when was the last time you used the Arbiter? If you've not used the Arbiter in 2 to 3, 4 months, this champion will not be for you. I don't think so. Because you most likely have moved on to bigger, better things. And making an Arbiter go unkillable is good. But her unkillable will most likely be stripped off and then killed. Just like we do for Leorius when he puts unkillable, we just remove it and kill. Why am I saying so? Because Arbiter doesn't have high resistance good enough for us to, sustain that unkillable. But it's all good mechanics for PvE content if you can find content where Arbiter and this champion can pair together. But for Arena, I don't see them working. Now, that's my verdict about this entire champion skill. I did say I'll switch over to tell you what Premium says about this champion. Let me slap it on screen real quick so you guys can read along with me, because I read really, really slow. That's what they have to say about her. All right, let's see. High Elves, Legendary, Defense, Force Affinity. In the world of Terraria, the Incarnate is a perfect soldier and an immortal being. The sole purpose of her existence is to serve Arbiter's guardian and resolute warrior. A duty reflected in her skill set. Yes, she's really a guardian to the Arbiter, which unlocks additional abilities when they are both on your team. She will obediently join your Arbiter in the arena or in any battle against the Hydra. Who uses Arbiter in the Hydra? Early game players do. Yes, that's good. However, even when not paired with the Arbiter, the Incarnate remains a formidable champion on her own. I don't know about that. Capable of standing her ground and being valuable addition to your roster of champions. The Incarnate's A1 hits an enemy twice with chance of provoking which makes her suitable for candidate for provoker against the head of decay. 50-50 chance. 50-50 chance is not enough. 75% chance maybe. 50-50 chance to land provoke is not something you want to rely on, except she's your support provoker. You know, when you have your main provoker like a Krisk, and then his skill is on cooldown, and then she comes in and uses her own. Just like Husk sometimes is a support provoker for some people. So I guess there is a thought about that, for you to make her not your main provoker but your support provoker. Her A2, let's see what they have to say about it. A2 will prompt her to attack all enemies and remove all shields and a random buff from them. Let me see what they will say about this skill, where it will be used. You know, the other A1 they are telling you Arena, they are telling you Hydra. Let's see where this remove shield wants to work. All right. Following this, she will protect her team with the shield buff scaled off her defense. Did I read that part? Where did I see shield buff? Oh, then places shield buff on all allies for 2 turns. The value of shield is proportional to this champion's defense. I forgot about that part. I was so pissed about this part that she's removing the enemy's shield, and I didn't look at it. She's actually putting shield on us to bid based on her defense. That makes her a little bit good in some content, I guess. Right. Back to what Plarium is saying about her, or what Red is saying about her. This skill is particularly useful against the head of mischief or heavily shielded enemies in the arena. Heavily shielded enemies in the arena have protected shields. I'm telling you, I don't see anybody coming into the arena with anybody you see with this type of shield. I don't think I think we can all agree on that. Anybody who comes to the arena with a shield set is not ready for arena. You have to come with a bolster set, you have to come with a protection set, you have to come something better. And I don't think anybody relies on shield for the arena. Maybe some people still use Brogni in the arena. Maybe they rely on shield. But I tell you, those champions usually have their shields protected. All right. Let's see. The Incarnate's A3 provides a reliable ally protection and strengthening combo for all allies. She also has 2 passive and with their own separate cooldowns. What cooldowns? I didn't see anything about cooldowns. 4-turn cooldown, 4-turn cooldown. Nothing about cooldowns. What I mean about cooldown is you cannot book this passive to happen every time it happens. It will be just used once and then goes on a 4-turn cooldown. That's what I was looking forward to. And the second passive, resistance, 20% the damage for habitat. Yeah. I don't like this. Please note, fusion format of the fusion will be a bit different, but already familiar with it. All right. So for those who are not quite sure about the format of the fusion, let me quickly explain that so you can be prepared. It's an old school fusion paired with a fragment fusion. You have to go to your fragments when the fusion starts. You see some epics in here. Some epics that you can get fragments for this epic. Where do you get the fragments from? From events and tournament that will be going on. I'm talking about arena, classic arena, whether you're doing dungeons and dungeon divers, grading artifacts and all that. That's how you get the epics. Now, we don't know yet whether it will be 1 epic or 4 different new epic champions. And of course, this also gives an opportunity for those who want to skip the fusion already. You don't like the legendary, you can always go for the new epic. Yes, it most likely will be a new epic that they want to add right here, so we can obtain fragments of that epic champion. When you get 4 copies of that epic champion, you can go to the fusion and now put that epic champion 2, 3, 4 and fuse this new the Incarnate champion. All right, that's what is coming in Raid Shadow Legends June 6th, the fusion for the month of June 2024. And so far the community is saying she's not good enough. So far that's what they're saying. My verdict, I'll give her a 6 out of 10. She's not even up to 7 or 8, a 6 out of 10. Most likely from my endgame account, if I get this champion, it doesn't seem like she's gonna see the light of day. No books too. So she doesn't have healing, she does have shield. I prefer healing than shield. And of course, you can always pair her with protection set and make her shield strong. I know defensive based shields are very strong in raid. Don't underrate those type of shields. It makes your allies stay alive longer. So it's not an HP based shield, it's a defense based shield. So with a high defense, she'll even stay alive longer to survive those ally protection hits that is coming into her. So I'm not saying she's bad, I'm just saying for endgame accounts she's not gonna be worth it. Now for the noob to pro, I always have to approach this from two perspectives. For a noob to pro account like this that is just, you know, trying to get Lydia, the Death Siren. If I go to the High Elves faction and see how it's looking, do I have a populated High Elves faction champion list? That's one legendary, that's an arbiter already. So my High Elves is already taken care of. So noob to pro will be skipping this fusion because this account just wants to get Lydia by beating faction wars. So I'm not going to be going for this fusion. I already have some damage dealers right there, sustain champion. I have an ally protection champion, Veggies, so I don't need her on this account. So if your High Elves faction is looking scanty in terms of legendaries, go for her. So another reason why you might want to go for her is if you're one of those players who are you're playing the long run, right? Like my endgame account. Let me switch back. You can see I'm playing the long run in terms of faction guardians. Check out my High Elves faction. If I get this champion, one copy of her, I will add her in here, and maybe one day I'll get a second copy as a way of trying to complete my High Elves guardian ring faster. So fine, we say she's not going to be used in Hydra for me, she's not going to feature in my arena team for me, but she can still have purpose for me as a faction guardians for High Elves, because you don't know when you always pull duplicates of these champions. So I'm just thinking of reasons why I'm going for it. That's how I'm explaining it. And also don't forget, I have the resources in terms of gems, I have the silver that it takes, and I have the time. I'm a content creator, I have the time, and yeah, I can go for it. But for my noob to pro, no. Headhunter will have to decide on his own if this is a fusion he wants to go for. I'll talk about his account later on the live stream if we are going for this or not. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this champion. Hope I gave her a fair rating. I gave her a fair shake. I didn't just come in with preconceived notions about what others are saying about her. I read her skills, I understood what she brings to raid, and I found out she's not for my endgame account, it's not for the noob to pro, but it's for somebody out there who wants to pair arbiter with a support champion like the Incarnate. Let me know in the comments what you think about this June fusion. Are you going to be going for her? What do you think about her skills? And don't forget, this is what Playroom does. They just give us a man's an amazing, crazy fusion. Do not expect them to give us back-to-back amazing fusions. It's just unfair. It's not realistic. They always have to balance it, one good, one bad, one bad, one bad, then one good again. They always have to balance it. If they give us all crazy, amazing fusions every time around, our resources will be dry. So it's good for us to give us a break like this, to skip out on fusion like this that are not that, game changing. And yeah, give the community a break. And if you finally obtain this champion, maybe those who test her in the test server will find out areas where she will shine. Definitely champions like this, when they come around, will definitely help endgame players in Corset City in some content that you cannot get through the High Elves legendaries are required. Alright, that's my review of this, or my first impression, not a full review, just the first impression of our skills and abilities of this new June fusion coming up June 6th. So save your resources, save your shards. The portal is red glowing right here. Don't waste all your primal shards if you don't have enough secret shards. So if you're going for her, I'd love to hear your feedback honestly about this champion. What do you think about her? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more daily raid content. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later, guys.